Training Day with Ray would like to thank our lead sponsor, the Law Office of Richard M. Kenny, New York City's toughest personal injury law firm. I've been in the fight game for over 30 years. From small-time arenas to the biggest show in the world, I've trained some of the best MMA fighters in the sport today. And the one thing I've learned is when you enter the octagon, you can't hide who you are. My name is Ray Longo, and this is my show. Hey, get my spot ready. Hey, listen, welcome to another episode of Training Day with Ray. It's been a while, had 3 weeks in a row of big fights, and I think that's what we're going to talk about today is, I think we'll start backwards, and before we get started, obviously, you all know Steve Maraboli. He's been on the show many times, and Iaquinta, right from getting a tooth pulled, his wisdom tooth pulled, he was nice enough to come on and bask in the glory of what I thought was one of the best performances of your career, man. I thought it was great. You know, congratulations on that. And a lot to talk about with that fight. And Steve, you can attack it from different angles, but we'll go. I mean, let's talk about the fight first. 2-year layoff. You know, we didn't know what to expect. Diego's a tough dude, man. We know that. He gets stronger as the fight goes on, you know. And one thing with 2 years off, you're never sure how your cardio is going to be. But I think you did the right thing. We never even got to that point. So, but I thought really just you held your distance. You were relaxed. You looked comfortable when you were going in there. Pinpoint accuracy on the right hand. The fakes were beautiful. Moving to the left. Everything was looking good. And you know, I thought it was a great fight. You know, put you back in the public eye.
Back in the mix for sure. It was like I was on autopilot the whole time. You know, I got him hurt, and then I don't even remember really what happened. It was just almost like instinct. I had to look back after, and I was like, holy crap, I threw a fake jab. I came with a hook cross. I faked it again, and then threw the right hand, probably the best right hand I've ever thrown.
Wow,
you know?
man.
It was just no cock back, just straightforward, right on his chin, timed it perfectly. It was like I was watching somebody else. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I got to tell you, I mean, I'm not, and obviously, you know, I love you, but not because you're here, but I really believe one of the best finishes in MMA, man. That guy,
Diego
you know,
Sanchez.
I saw when he got dropped, I'm like, there's no way he's getting out of this because, you know, even what you did with Lazone, you just kept you cool, you chased him around, you held the distance perfectly, kept everybody at the end of the punches. You know, they're a little groggy, they're trying to swing back, and you're just waiting for them to miss and then come back. It was just, you know, picture perfect. Couldn't ask for anything more. I was blown away by the layoff. You know, we had a health-based training camp, I want to say, which we'll discuss sometime really in the future, but really some good stuff, man. It was a great thing. From a mental aspect, from your 2-year layoff, a lot of doubt going through your head.
So I ran into Al a few times while you were working out here and training, and both times he said he's about as great as he's ever felt. He was calm, cool, relaxed. I think that this version of him is the deadliest version of him. I think that you and I shared private conversations that were about that. And Diego Sanchez referred to that right hand as a right hand from hell.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. I think that this is the best version of Al Iaquinta. And it's unfortunate that so much of it is actually projected after the fight.
Yeah.
The conversation, with all of the fights.
Yeah,
you know, we're talking, a lot of it, we're speaking about what happens afterwards, but this is the best version of Al that I've seen, definitely. And his mindset is...
I think that was pretty obvious.
That's Diego Sanchez. He wasn't doing that to me. Like that was to Diego Sanchez, and you felt it the second it started. You felt that there was a different, the best Al there, and that it didn't matter who was across.
It's funny how that works out. Just sometimes, you know, you never know what night but you know, he's been really consistent too. So which is great. But again, he had a really tough dude in there that really gets stronger as the fight goes on. So I think that was it. Just jump all over him and
leading into it. Did you feel any different than you usually do? Like I'm telling you what I see as a fan, really. But you leading into it, did you feel that maybe having this idea of if I fight again after this, I do. If I don't, I don't. Did that actually help you stay focused? And
I think so. I think I was the least nervous I've ever been, almost to the point where I really didn't care I was just gonna do what I felt like doing in there, and I knew if I did that and had fun, it would work out the best. But I didn't care about impressing too many people besides the people that have taught me. Ray, my cornerman, my parents. I wasn't really thinking about anybody else. I was just trying to land the stuff we work on, and just it all worked out, man. It was crazy.
It really
Can I tell you?
It's been great to see.
Oh no, he did me a favor too, because that was the third fight. Me and Matt every week. We had Chris Musasi, then we had Aljo, and then Al. And I was like, wow, sitting in the locker room, like, you know what? I think these traveling's catching up to me a little bit. Matt was like, yeah, this been a rough 3 weeks, because it's not just traveling and doing something. You really want to be there emotionally for everybody,
invested,
and these are like these three guys. They're just all good friends, and I kind of come up with I want to call my coaching like trickle down coaching. The better the guys at the top do will trickle down and help everybody below that. So this was a big stage for us, and we were coming off some losses, man. So as even a coach, talk about the mental aspect. I was feeling the pressure a little bit too, because I want the best for the guys, and it's not about me, but I really, the losing thing doesn't sit well with me. It really does. And then we got off to a crazy start with Chris. He was doing great. And then we had that controversy. And, that kind of put me in a tailspin, because there was a lot of things going on there. And then, Aljo was coming off of 2 losses, and he went in there and did what he did, which was phenomenal. We'll talk about that. And then this guy, 2-year layoff. So I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. These are my top guys, this is my best foot, not my best foot, but the school, the team's best foot forward. And, he's got Diego Sanchez. The guy is totally insane. You know what I mean? He hasn't fought in over 2 years. And it was emotionally, it was a crazy time for me. I didn't think it would even get to me that bad, but it really did. And I'm glad it worked out well. And hopefully, Chris regroups and we get him back on track.
And ups and downs. You bring up Chris, and it was very interesting for me to see Chris, and that we should talk about that
a little bit. But this technicality, and we see logistical issues, whether it be the referee or the commission, whatever it may be with Chris's. And then we watch Aljo a week later fight and really change his style from a technicality, from a frustration with judges. It seems like that was very inherent in both of these fights. And you watch Aljo do a completely different thing. Aljo, who made the great point, unanswered, but a great point of, if you just give me a standard for judges, I can train appropriately.
Without a doubt. And I think you've said it too. From uncomfortability comes growth, and I think he was a perfect example of that. He was, he lost 2 split decisions. I always say I think the Caraway was deserved. I thought he beat a Sun Sao, but through that, I think that really drove him to.
He learned, and he's one of these guys that learns. If you talk to him, he'll tell you, this is what I did wrong. In the Caraway fight, he'll tell you exactly what he feels like he did wrong. Where he's learning, he finds that message in the mess. And so those 2 things. You want to go back to the Chris thing, because I know that most people have beat this up a lot, but to really talk about not only whether New York State should be having these major fights yet, or if they should be starting with the smaller promotions or not, but there is a valid point that Chris has where he was told what he was told as far as the blow being illegal. Right. It has got to be disheartening for him, because again, this was in the training room the most focused Chris Weidman you've seen in a while. Yeah, he was ready.
That's the shame of it.
He was ready way before the fight.
I would have loved to see how that played out without that. I thought he had a tremendous first round.
Great.
I mean, it's just. It's funny, like everybody, if you read anything on this, it's a Weidman-Musasi debacle, controversy. But then you talk to the people involved, no, business as usual. So I just think there's no culpability. I said this 100 times. you made the call, stick with the call. It wasn't, I get it. But to do that to a guy, say it's legal, then, you know, it's illegal, and you have time, you don't have time, you got to fight. I mean, there's just no consideration for the fighter. More than anything, there's no consideration for the fighter. Look, and they're saying, well, you know, all of a sudden when he told he had a fight, he knew everything. You know what I mean? Well, he's taking his time. You're encouraging the guy to take his time. It's like you get poked in the eye and you go, yeah, no, I can't see. They bring the doctor in. But if you tell the guy you got to fight, I'll fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. I mean, yeah, they're going to say they can't say, I just got poked in the eye. The guy just took 2 knees to the head. Nobody even cares. Legal, illegal. And then they're throwing them back in there, and there's people running all over the place.
It was chaos. You could tell it was disorderly. They didn't know how to do it, and
right.
It really does affect somebody.
Of course it does. You got a guy's livelihood. And I'm going to tell you, Steve, to me, until people are held accountable, and I mean, I'm really thinking even civilly. I mean, somebody lost money. There's a lot of people that lost money in that thing. I mean, I think these guys should be held accountable, because I think right now they're just spinning stuff, and, you know, I get it. You know, the rules, this is bad. This is really bad, and I think somebody has to analyze really why that rule is in that one state, not in another state. There's nothing unified about any rules. I just did 2 fights after that the rule didn't apply to. Great night of fights, both nights. Didn't mean anything. These guys are still fighting for that rule. Like, all right, you tried it. You know, Tim Means, he had a problem with it. Weidman had a problem. I mean, within like months, reevaluate it. Or if you don't get 10 commissions to agree to it, then don't pass it. Not one commission at a time. I mean, we're going to have to do a show on exactly how this thing works, because I'm still confused. Is it New York State? Is it the ABC? What is going on?
And beyond that, what happens when a referee stops the action?
Yeah.
He's making that choice to stop the action. Chris didn't say, hey, wait,
yeah.
He didn't turn his back, he didn't do anything. The referee stopped the action. He took the opportunity for Chris to defend himself, took away that opportunity, and then said, you can't fight anymore. That's a problem regardless of wherever you are. If the referee stopped it, his decision should go, and if he gave him the 5 minutes, give him the 5 minutes.
And here's my other point. You know, when Sterling was fighting, Aljo was fighting the Sun Tzu, he gets kicked in the balls. The ref doesn't see it, right? Why doesn't one of the other refs go, well, time, I saw it right on the instant replay, give the guy his timeout? Nobody says a fucking word. You know what happens? A Sun Tzu, being a stand-up guy that he is, he allows Aljo to have a minute. He just follows him around because he knows there was an infraction. The ref didn't do a goddamn thing about it. The ref on the outside didn't do it. So where's the judge? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was blatant that the other fighter, instead of jumping on Aljo and taking advantage, does the right thing. And I really hats off to Sun Tzu for just letting Aljo recover from that. Well, because nobody else was going to help him. They're there to protect him. So make the call.
We could be on the fool's errands. The fool's errands could be ours. We're looking for an athletic commission to have integrity. So we could be the ones with the issue.
Yeah, right.
Here. You know, we're looking for that. And even after this, Chris Weidman, Musasi, you saw that every position, every official position wasn't made to acknowledge, reference any issues, any holes. No. Everything was fine, and the problem belongs with anyone who has a problem.
Without a doubt.
And that's not a way to...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, are you there for the sport? You know what I mean? Are you there to further the sport, or you just want to cover everybody's ass?
Just covering everybody's ass.
That's
it's short-sightedness. It's something that I feel that's, and I'm sure we'll get to what Al's been speaking to. I think that it's short-sightedness, and they're missing out. Somewhere, and we go back to the business aspect. For me, I can see the business aspect of the UFC's decisions and certain things that they do. But somewhere in there, this chronic myopia that they have as far as running this business. Now, I'm not going to ever tell the Fertitta brothers how to make money. I'm not going to tell Dana White, another multi-millionaire, how to make money or run their business. However, I can notice that where they're starting to fall in trouble, behind the scenes, if you're looking at the numbers, where they're starting to fall in trouble, it's going to be fighters like Al that are going to lift that up. Yeah. And it's going to be simple things like this Reebok deal that at some point someone would just admit that, oh wow, this was really bad. You'd have exponentially less pressure from your fighters if you were letting them go out and make their own money as well. exponentially from a business aspect.
Right.
You can alleviate yourself from that. So just little things like that, little short-sighted things that got companies like Kodak that you know it's somewhere on Kodak they said, no, we're too big, you know, screw everybody, and those companies are gone. They invented the digital camera and they're gone because just short-sightedness, and I would hate for that to see, because while this is all happening, you have, you know, Bellator not only taking some bigger names, but if they're smart in their business structure, they're picking up the younger guys, the up-and-coming guys. They're doing their own version of kind of like the Ultimate Fighter, like the UFC. As soon as they start doing that, the UFC's they're going to struggle, and it's going to be events that they think is little, like the Ally Iaquintas. Those are the ones that are going to be.
I just think, look, the shame to me is, look, and I said this on the pod, I know, not agreeing with the way he went about handling, but you got to understand the guy's frustrations. He's definitely one of my favorite fighters, and I think a lot of people's favorite fighters. And 2 co-main events, 2 knockouts over really big-name guys. And I didn't do anything to help the situation. Guys said, you definitely got the bonus. You know, I think I say to him all the time, he's like, why you're saying that? He goes, why are you doing that again? I go, no, tonight. Come on, just Diego Sanchez. The guy's a legend in the business, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. How do you not get the bonus? How do you not get the bonus?
Who does that to Diego Sanchez?
And I know Dana likes guys with good hands, and I'm like, dude, I just think he's your type of guy. Like, I'm confused, and I just think, you know, like, again, when they do those fighter meetings, don't leave it to the judges. He does everything they ask for him. So we all get the frustration, you know what I mean? And hey, look, even with Melendez, he trained. That fight got canceled a week before his fight. He still got to pay his people. He still got to do this. So he loses money, you know? Who gets rewarded? You know what I mean? Melendez? I mean, he screwed that fight up for the kid, you know what I mean? So they got to understand it. There's got to be some compensation somewhere, and just doing the right thing, I think, because you got guys losing money now. Now you're fighting and you actually lose. You put a whole camp in, you got nothing, and people still want to get paid. So what do you do? I mean, you know.
There are more and more flaws in their system being pointed out, and you're seeing this picked up with talks of fighter groups. And I agree. I told Ray the other day, when you started lashing out after your fights, I said, you know, it's funny, Al should go on his Twitter and say, if you guys would pay me more, I'd pay for a social media company to do this or something like that, something to that effect, some social media training or something. But the truth of the matter is you can disagree with the way that Al goes about it, but he's been on, 5 podcasts in the past 2 days, all over the MMA media, and if he hadn't had such a visceral response that way.
Well, and plus, if he didn't have such an outstanding performance, if you had a 3-round shitty decision, nobody would even give a fuck.
No
I
one
mean,
cares.
dude, look, and again, I'm telling him I don't agree with the other stuff, but I get it. I get the frustration. I just maybe would like to articulate it differently. But, man, he produces, man. He goes in there, he fights. Like, you know, I just, that's the part I don't get. I mean, am I missing something? Because what else could he do? I don't know what else he could do. I mean, the only guy he didn't knock out was Masvidal, and that guy's a killer at this point, you know?
UFC's position on Al, to me, is kind of like the public's position on DC. But sorry, DC and Ken Flo
had
some
really good
things.
They had they agreed that I deserved to get a bonus, and I don't even know if it's so much about the bonus. It's just 2 years of, there's a lot of, I'm basically like I had a death sentence. They gave me a death sentence. You know, they said, we're not paying for your surgery. So I said, you know, and that's just pent up, you know, for years. 2 years. I was sitting there. I just remember, like, what the heck am I going to do? I have nothing. I have no job. I can't fight now. They're not going to pay for my knee surgery. I can't afford it. So, you know, and I can't get a phone call back from, you know, guys. Yeah,
that's frustrating, man.
Incredibly
it definitely is. So, you know, like, again, there's always 2 sides to the story. I promote fights, too. So, like, again, I could see it from both sides because I have the Ring of Combat with Lou Neglia. So even though it's a really way smaller thing, you still have to deal with, you know, basically the same issues, you know, whether it's tickets for somebody or guys pulling out of fights at the last minute. It's just smaller, you know. But so, I mean, I get it, but You don't let a guy go who's really producing. That's what
like
I don't like, you know.
The crowd boos DC, and it just became like a thing. There's really not a reason so much as it's what we do. We boo DC. I feel like that's like the relationship the UFC has with Al. Like, it seems nonsensical. It's definitely bad business.
Yeah.
It could be a personal vendetta here or there. Who knows? But it's definitely bad business. This guy puts asses in the seats.
Yeah.
People want to talk about it. They want to retweet. They want to hear what he has to say.
I think it's been good for everybody in hindsight, and I think in the future
and
it's going to work out.
At the end of the day, he's an incredible fighter.
Yeah.
So, but the question I would have for you would be, it seems to me, I've listened to a few of your interviews, and it does seem to me that the people who know you here know you're a stand-up guy, so feeling like you're left high and dry, like, hey, I needed you guys. I killed myself in a cage for you guys, and when I needed you, you won't answer my phone calls. That's something that hits you hard, and it does seem to me that it's not so much about money as it is about respect and the respect of, hey, pay me more because I draw more. I don't want to be in the position to I hurt my knee fighting, and I can't afford to fix it, and these type of things. It seems to me that might be where you're going with it, but I don't really hear a clear. It sounds to me like you are indifferent to whether you fight again. It seems to me that you aren't willing to, that you don't want to cave. That the integrity of their word and your contract seems more important than your actual fight career.
Yeah, I mean the Reebok thing is a big part of it. You know, just going back to being injured, not having anything, and it kind of all came together at the same time. A lot of it just worked out bad for me. You know, the Reebok thing came along right as I was getting hurt, right as I needed the sponsorship monthly. It just was gone. You know, so that it's all built up, and it's all you know. I think it all kind of. It didn't work out for me. So
well, we're glad it came out in your fists. First of all, that was a huge thing. I think you channeled that anger into your right hand, which was good.
And he's focused.
Yeah,
Reebok? How did it work before Reebok? How did the sponsorships work? So you just had companies that would. I always thought it was just if you came in and you had like logos on your shorts, they paid X amount of dollars to do that. But you had companies that also sponsored your actual training as well, and
well,
it was an income.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Torque, for example, would give me a monthly
stipend,
and then when I fought, I would get X amount, and then if I won, I would get X amount.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is nice.
Which is great because that continues to elevate.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, in the beginning, it was anyone could just sponsor, and it was kind of your own agreement kind of thing. Then the UFC said, "Oh wow, look at all these guys. You know, let's start taxing these guys," and you know they had to pay. The companies had to pay. I don't know what the tax was, a couple $100,000 or whatever it was. So that takes away from the fighters just to be able to sponsor fighters, you know. So they're getting all that money, and then whatever's left over is left over for the fighters. And then that wasn't even enough. Now we got the Reebok thing, and it's, you know, Lobov was the main event. He got $2,500 from Reebok. The main event on Fox Sports 1. I don't know how many millions of viewers it did.
Yeah, no,
$2,500. It's crazy. I could walk into every deli in my town, and every single one would give me $2,500 at deli.
Right.
You know, and this is Reebok. This is a huge company that is gonna pay. It's not
on a huge stage, no less.
Yeah.
On a huge stage.
Well, look, I just hope like that, because I know most of the parties involved, and there's some really good people, but I just hope it gets cleared up in the future, because it seems like it's something that's not that hard to address.
Even the UFC's point of view, like he was just saying, if you go into a deli and getting money, if that alleviates you breaking my balls for more money, that would be great. So even from the UFC's point of view, I remember I was listening to one of the episodes, maybe it was Fighter and the Kid, and Brendan Schaub, who's another big fan of yours. He said he really loves the way that you fight, and he was saying he was making $100,000 in sponsors, almost every one of his fights, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money,
and that's a lot of money, not only to make, but that's a lot of money to lose.
Yeah,
and then go to $2,500.
So I think
instead.
I think the bottom line is it's good to understand where his frustration is, and even tonight, this is the first time I'm hearing since he got hurt with the Reebok. the timing of that thing and then getting your money taken away, your monthly stipend, that's got to suck, man, and you're not fighting.
Well, I guess it's got to be a shitty feeling to put your heart into everything and to put as much hours as you put in, and then find yourself, what you said was powerful, had no job, had no money, I couldn't afford to pay to get healed.
Yeah.
And the people I was doing this for didn't return my call. That's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, tough. That's tough stuff. I mean, it really is. But I believe everything's going to work out in the future.
I think
it is, and I think, like, again, you just keep winning. I always put a priority on that. Just keep winning. I think everything will fall into place. And I think, again, that even though I'm saying that's part of the frustration, I'm winning, I'm knocking people out. It's not. I don't even think it would take a lot, to make them, extremely happy.
I think
but I
that
feel
they'll
like
come
it's going to
around.
happen.
There's got to be someone bright, someone who's going to get past the emotional nonsense that is in here and see from a business aspect.
Yeah.
Who cares if they like Al or not? From a business aspect, you have somebody here who is absolutely devastating what he does and entertaining.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I've been to the bottom. Like you said, if I hadn't, I know that I can work hard. If I can get through that and get back in the ring and fight and knock somebody out, I could do it in real estate. I could do it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, look, I'm a big believer. I like that even better. I mean, I really, because fighting is not the end, the be all end all, whatever the saying is. I mean, you want to use that, and you want to use all the attributes you built for that, and really parlay it into your life, man.
The same passion.
Yeah, the same passion, and what got you there, you could do anything. And I think that's the beauty of it. It is it's a metaphor. It really is. And if you could do it there, you could do it anywhere, man. And I think that's great that you're being successful with the real estate thing. That's a great lesson for people, too, is don't put, you could do anything you want, period,
Which wouldn't have happened had this not happened.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I might have just been a decent fighter and whatever, but it definitely motivated me to just go.
Yeah, which is great.
I was never more motivated to just, a little bit of it was kind of resentment towards the people that didn't help me out, but most of it was just motivating, just to get all the way up there, make it happen.
Yeah. That's huge, man. It's big stuff. It really is.
Have you had other fighters reach out to you and say, hey, something similar to what Ray was talking about it not being the be all end all? Have you had other fighters reach out and say, hey, man, you're on the right path?
No, definitely. There's been people that have been messaging me asking more about real estate. They want to get involved. That's awesome. I say it's a lot of hard work. I was just as frustrated in the beginning of that as I was when I wasn't, when I was hurt. I was out fighting. It took a while to get it kind of going, and once I did, now it's okay. So I definitely give them any advice. You got to have something else to back up on, especially now. Until hopefully something gets figured out where the fighters have more of a voice and.
So let's move on to Aljo. We can come back to that, but I mean, another 2 losses, backs up against the wall. I mean, mentally, he was in a rough spot too. But I mean, I think he said what he was going to do. He was going to continue round 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I think he did it, man. He stayed in the pocket better. Very happy with his growth. And I always say this: the guy's got 12 or 13 fights, whatever it is. He's fighting guys 40 fights, 30 fights. This guy didn't have the fights, but I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing him even look good. But Caraway's got a lot of fights. The Sunset's got a lot of fights. So Aljo got to a great spot on his athleticism with 10 or 12 fights, man. So he's a work in progress, but I really like what I saw, man. He stayed in the pocket. He was focused. You could see he wanted to win, man. He went down to the floor with a world-class jiu-jitsu guy that people are raving about. Never was in danger. Didn't care, and, like, again, he came out with the win. I hope he learns from that, and he's going to just keep building on that, because I think he's got some special gifts that, he did great in the fight, but on a scale of 1 to 10, he's at like a 4, where his potential is. He's up here. The bar is up here. Once he starts letting his shit go, I can't wait.
I see him in here. I see him in here, and
well, to see him in here, you know that he's still not pulling the trigger the way he should be.
Yeah, I've never had a bad conversation with him. I've never heard him down. He's always very self-analytic.
Yeah, very introspective.
And he will refine. And you can see him go and ask. He gets as much information from as many people as he can. He's open to learning. And even again from a business aspect, he's entertaining. He might connect with Jamie Franco and do a video. And
I thought that was hysterical too.
Yeah, and he's that all around guy as well. Definitely great things coming from him as well.
Yeah. That was a huge thing, and again, huge morale boost for the team, and I think it had to make you feel good seeing them win.
Sure.
Because
he had fun. He was just he was out there. That was the most fun I've seen him have. He was enjoying throwing his hands, staying in the pocket.
And that's it. I think that's really what you learn is just go out and just be the best you could be. There's nothing else you could control, And I think he really looked like a different person to me, man. It was a big growth fight for him, man. He really needed that. And again, I hope he builds on the momentum and just keeps getting better and better because he's definitely a super talented dude, man, for sure.
What do you think? What do you think his next move is, or what do you hope?
I just hope he keeps building on his skill set and believing in himself. You know what I mean? And just learning how to mix it up and just taking the things he does good and just get him it's always like you could be a great guy in the gym sparring, but you got to bring that to the octagon. Like he fights the way he spars. And that's probably why, because he's been in so many gym wars that you're not going to really rattle him in there. And I think Aljo's got to follow that same type of thing. He's got to really embrace the stand-up to where I don't give a fuck what you do. You want to fight me standing up? Fuck you. You want to fight me on the floor? Fuck you. Wherever you want the fight to go, he's got to develop that FU attitude and just go for it. Because he does have the skills, but he doesn't have the flight time Al has with the sparring, because I think even if I go back and look at all the people he sparred, some really good fighters out there, and the gym wars he's been in, it helps, man. It makes it like, this is my neighborhood. What are you going to do? Punch me in the face? It's been done about 1,000 times. So I'd like to see Aljo get a little more of that FU attitude, and I think we started to see the beginning of it, and hopefully that's where I want to see him go, is just keep getting better and mixing it up and just doing the things he can do in sparring, bring it to the octagon, and he'll be a different person.
And again, we're always talking about mindset and attitude. Yeah. Thought process, mindset, and attitude. Chris Weidman, Ms. Musasi, that first round.
Yeah.
Have you seen a better Chris Weidman? And again, mindset. You listened to Chris's interview before, you see him in here. Mindset. Putting in the work, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But that mindset, making sure that Al says about Aljo, he was out there having fun. It was great to see him out there having fun. And Al, with his,
But again, I think against the odds, 2-year layoff is not easy to do. In boxing, that's not easy to do, I'll tell you. Doesn't always translate well. And Aljo coming off of 2 losses, backs against the wall. You don't know if you're going to have your job. You lose. You know what I mean? So I got to give it up to him just for that. And he took a fight on short notice too, which was great. I mean, it's just good. It all worked out good, I think. And that's the other thing with him. I think the busier he stays, the better he'll be. I don't think he's a guy that should fight twice a year. I think he should fight 4 times a year, because he's got to keep growing, man. He needs 20 fights under his belt, It
might have been good that he was, kind of had his back against the wall. It could have went 2 ways.
Yeah.
He either just shells up and really just plays it super safe.
We've seen that. We've seen that in people too, and then that's it. They're gone. They're cut. So I'm enjoying the downtime. It's good to be able to bullshit and do the show again. But I'm more just everybody produced, man. And that's why I say with Chris it was a shame, because he had such a stellar first round, and we're never going to know what the frick happened now, And again, I don't want to beat that to death, but I just wish they would have stuck with the call. Well, somebody was going to be pissed. I
listened to Chill's on his podcast.
And Chill's always got a good perspective.
And he had a great perspective on the fight, which was exactly that.
Which was what?
Which was exactly that. Hey, listen, the referee called it. This is what the referee called. You got to respect that. You told Chris Weidman it was an illegal blow. You have 5 minutes. You can't take that from him.
Do they understand what a mind fuck that is? That you're in the heat of battle and you tell the guy, take your time, it was illegal. You tell Musasi it was illegal. Next day, it's legal, you got to go. What month is it? What day is it? You could ask me what day it was in that thing. I had to really sit and concentrate, and I wasn't doing anything. And, I know, we had Mark Henry in the corner with us, and he was screaming to Chris, take your time, Doc, make sure everything's all right. And I remember going like, why were you doing that, though? Because I was kind of like, let's just get the fight going again. And then he told me, Barboza got up-kicked illegally from Ferguson, and he continued where he should have taken the time, and he ended up fucking losing. So he was like, I just want him to be healthy and make sure he was doing it, but then all of a sudden it's legal. Get back in there and fight. It was weird, man. I don't care. Something has to change. I don't care. I'm not looking to even ruffle any feathers, but they mind-fucked that kid. He's got every right to be pissed off. I know it's a bureaucracy, but I'm not going to stop. I think we need a coaches association, not a union or a fight, even a fight, but get involved. Who made that rule up? How to get passed? Who'd you consult? What kind of information you have?
Accountability.
Accountability.
When something happens with a fighter, they put them in Vegas. They put them in front of the, they interrogate them, see what happened. Let's do that.
Why is nobody? You wouldn't let nobody talk after that. You couldn't get an interview with anybody. Why? If you know the rules. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been different if Dan would have said, stop, Chris, go there, let me just check the replay, I want to get another thing to see, and then start him right away. That's different, but you already, talk about mindset, you're putting the guy's mind in a different spot. You're mind fucking him. It was illegal, take your time. Sit down, you got 5 minutes, chill out, You're already taking the guy out of the fight, you know what I mean? And then I can't get past the ruling. That's the thing, you know what I mean? I want to address what happened, why you changed it. Show me the statute on the books that says you could do this, and that. You know what I mean? And again, I go back to Aljo. You saw an infraction. The ref missed it. Nobody helps the kid, so let him just keep fighting. He got kicked in the balls. Where's the polling for that? Where's the ref on the outside saying, whoa, yo, so-and-so, you missed that call. I just saw it on the replay. They don't give a shit. It's all about covering your ass, period. That's it. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to be wrong. You can make mistakes. Everybody does. But this shit is out of control, man. I don't know what you have to do with an athletic commission to lose your job. I really don't. Somebody's going to have to get killed. You know what I mean? I watched a guy get punched in the back of the head 14 times. The guy's still working today. Like, the guy could have died. Like, was there a suspension? Was there just no culpability at all? It is mind-boggling to me. And this is why we got to stay on this, because it's like mothers against drunk driving. You need something against, bad judging and reffing. You got to stay on top of these guys, and then, let them just do their job. You could make mistakes, everybody does, but I'd like to hear I'm sorry once, Yves Levine told me that one time with Drago's fight. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Power to you, man. Thanks. It does mean something. You know what I mean? I think even like that guy Bob Bennett, I like the commissioner in Vegas, stand-up guy. He came out against Sal D'Amato, made a bad call. He said, look, the guy was wrong. And then they're going to review it and help him get better. And what's the matter with that, though? I think people appreciate that. Then you can't even do an interview after the. You know why you can't do an interview after the fight? Because you don't have the answers. You got to go back. You got to sit with guys. You got to spin it. You got to hear what everybody's angle is. So what are we doing? We want to advance the sport of MMA. We want to make it safer. It's about the fighters. It's not about you. You know what I mean? And that's the issue, man. It's bizarre to me. I don't know. Whatever. You could beat it with a dead horse. I just hope there's some changes. But I think there needs to be accountability, and there's got to be somebody. And again, I think until they're sued civilly, they're never going to get it. Because I'll tell you, put half of this shit in front of a regular court, it ain't going to be looking too good. Right. When you have your kangaroo court and you make up your own rules as you're going, well, no, it wasn't on the books, but we were thinking of putting it on the books. Well, that's nice,
Right, there's no rules against it or for it.
Yeah, right.
It's not mentioned at all.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Yeah. Well, it's not that there's no instant replay. It doesn't say that you can't have instant replay. I mean, the shit you hear is mind-boggling. Right. I'm like,
and you're right. It seems like it's there to just adjust.
And I got to tell you, I've heard different stuff. The commissioner came down here, nice guy, to talk to me about what happened, told me there's no instant replay. Everybody's wrong. I'm like, but they just did an article in Bloody Elbow. He goes, It's bullshit. Who do I believe? I feel like Weidman. You're telling me there's no instant replay, so then I tell somebody and they go, there is instant replay. So you're counting on these people to give you information.
And this is a career. I mean, this is a career. This is money in a million different places. A lot of people, like you're saying, lost money.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's a career that you're dealing with. Are there any places that you enjoy fighting in over others? Is that starting to happen now? You enjoying the Vegas?
Any place but New York.
Any place but New York.
New York. I love the people, and there's some really nice people on that commission. But I think it's just all working out good. I don't know. Now I'm joking with that, but I don't know. We got to do something with this rules thing, and I'm not really sure. I think it's a lot of egos going on, and people, a lot of infighting, and it's just stupid. Nobody cares about what they should be doing, which is protecting the athletes and enhancing the sport, not bringing the attention to you and you want to be right and everything was good, and nobody gives a fuck. It really doesn't. Somebody got screwed out of a lot of money because of your stupid fucking decisions, and
We should throw them up in front of a panel of some sort and
get
a suspension.
Well,
that's their career too. If a fighter messes up, they get suspended.
Period.
If a judge or a ref messes
What's the matter
up,
with that?
suspend them for a little bit of time.
The only people that should have total immunity are the coaches. That's it. They do
That's
whatever
just
they
the
want,
coaches.
It's the same way I run my life.
You've had 3 full weeks to spend with Matt Serra, so I'm sure
You don't want to travel with him, trust me.
I'm sure that if there
You
were
don't
cameras recording, there'd be a year's worth of great footage.
The worst news I got about that trip was he originally had something going on and he changed it. And so I was stuck in a room with him. I'm like, this can't be happening. You can't do this again. I've been in too many guys snores. It's just horrible, man. But that got straightened out. But he says, I think we got a room again together. I'm like, it's not happening. You know what I mean? I'm too old for this bullshit. He wraps himself up in the blankets. He's looking at me. I wake up. He's fucking looks like a mummy. It's horrible. Not a good scene.
There are entire comedy shows that could be written from you and Matt Serra rooming
we got
together.
some good stuff coming out. The book is in the works, Al.
Well,
Told you.
Al
You
mentioned.
told me. It's
The book is in the works.
going to be a good chapter.
Yeah, we got a good chapter.
You
coming
mentioned
up.
you guys are going to discuss at a different time somewhere else how your training was different for this fight. Because I've heard you mention it. Maybe you were on Ariel's show, and I've heard you mention it on this show. Is that something that'll come out at a different time?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's.
But we addressed his knee. It was a really health-based camp. That's what I'll say for right now. And he did some other stuff that we never did before. And you know what? It worked out. So.
No problem with the weight cut or anything, right?
The weight cut was.
Because I saw you
crazy
a week
how
before.
good
it great.
went. Yeah, it went. I was kind of. Maybe I put a little more pressure on myself because I've never done the morning weigh-ins before, and I wanted to get a little jump ahead of it, just to. Because I've never done it before, and I might have got a little ahead of schedule, and when I cut the weight, it came off like that. I was like, wow, the whole weekend was it all worked out good. I think there's a lot of thinking over the last 2 years, a lot of visualization. I would drive every day to Staten Island, and the whole way there, I would end up being there. I was driving, and then boom, I was I was pulling in the parking.
That's crazy.
I was pulling in the parking lot, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Scary.
How did I get here?"
That's actually
I was
scary.
in my head.
But give them a plug too, man. Because I think that
definitely,
take the opportunity to do that. I don't think you've been giving them enough credit, but these guys did a phenomenal.
Dr. Piazza, a sports science lab in Staten Island, really was a godsend that I found them. That they let me come down there 3-4 days a week, and the amount of time and money they must have spent on me is
and
incredible.
I never met any of these guys, but King, really great job with this guy. He looked phenomenal, and again, some different stuff coming out. And again, we had a. Like I even thanked Tim and Alger, dude, thanks, man. Your coach needed that, man. I got to tell you, because I just feeling all the haters out there and crazy. And, the controversy just marred everything. Plus, I don't want to overlook my TV debut on Kevin Can Wait was the Monday after Weidman. I'm telling Chris, can you just get a fucking win so I can enjoy my TV debut? I mean, I would have been the best month of my life. But, you know, shout out to everybody on the Kevin Can Wait show, too. It was phenomenal experience, and what nice people for even letting me.
You had a great shot in there. Boss Rutan's been on there a few times. Chris has been on there a couple times.
Yeah, Kevin's all about Long Island, man. He's a great guy. Helps
Funny
out
show.
A lot of people, and I can't say enough about that guy.
And you were excited to go to Nashville, so how was it? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did like it. I liked it. I got to spend a couple days there. I think I hit every bar, and got to shoot some guns. Got to just experience everything. It was cool, man. It was a fun time.
An up-and-coming place, Nashville was nice.
And
music scene was phenomenal.
And stop Diego Sanchez while you're there. No big deal.
And a shout-out to Diego, too. Really was
amazing.
A good guy.
Who's not a Diego Sanchez fan?
Yeah,
That's what makes it so impressive.
Right.
That you know, when that fight was announced, I'm like, what a fight to come back to. This guy, what do you got to do to stop this guy? And now I know. But
I mean, he lives with me forever. It was his mariachi band that played the theme to Mission Impossible. He fought Josh Koscheck on the card. Matt knocked out GSP.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that guy. But just a good dude, man. And he brings it, man. He brings it.
He brings it. There's no easy Diego Sanchez fight.
Yeah, it is.
It's a testament not only to who he is, but to the level where Al is. So congrats again, brother.
Yeah. I mean, really unbelievable performance. I can't say it enough. But I think that's it, man. We're gonna wrap it up. Man, that went quick. Another one under our belt, Steve.
Keep knocking them out.
That's it. We're just gonna keep knocking them out of the park. And that home run fence is probably about 50 yards away, but we're gonna keep hitting home runs. It don't matter how close.
And shout out to Al Iaquinta, who we gave approximately 5 minutes notice.
Yeah, thanks for that.
To come down.
I didn't think he was coming.
To come down this evening.
Say, why don't you call him? He goes, he's doing interviews with everybody. We might as well get him down.
Yeah, I've listened to him on 5 podcasts. Yeah. We're about to sit down. He's not here. But, yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Take a night off celebrating.
That's it. And things are going to work out. I hope we're going to do one way or the other. You know what? That's it. You take destiny into your own hands.
What's greater than hearing somebody say something like that, though? I would really like to be respected and appreciated, but if they don't, they don't.
But that's why.
And he learned something from this.
I try to highlight at least understand where the guy's coming from. He's performing. You know, he went through camps. The guy backside. I mean, what do you want to lose money fighting? You know,
if other fighters are calling him, they're in the same position. He's actually doing them a favor. You're in essence impacting other lives by what you're doing, which is great.
It's all good. All right, amigos, we are done with another episode. We will be hitting the mitts soon. I don't know how soon, but soon. Adios. Training Day with Ray would like to thank our lead sponsor, the law office of Richard M. Kenny, New York City's toughest personal injury law firm. And guys, let me tell you, man, when injuries strike, you need a great attorney in your corner, and these are the guys you want to call, Richard M. Kenny. And they're going to stick up for your rights, and nobody else will. I mean, you might think you're going to grab just any lawyer, but when you have a personal injury, man, you really have to find the right people. And these guys are the right people. All right, connect with them online at rmkinjurylaw.com. That's rmkinjurylaw.com. New York City's battle-tested trial lawyers, the law offices of Richard M. Kenny. The same way I run my life.
you've had 3 full weeks to spend with Matt Serra, so I'm sure
You don't want to travel with him, trust me.
I'm sure that if there
You
were
don't
cameras recording, there'd be a year's worth of great footage.
The worst news I got about that trip was he originally had something going on and he changed it. And so I was stuck in a room with him. I'm like, this can't be happening. You can't do this again. I've been in too many guys snores. It's just horrible, man. But that got straightened out. But he says, I think we got a room again together. I'm like, it's not happening. You know what I mean? I'm too old for this bullshit. Like, you know. He wraps himself up in the blankets. He's looking at me. I wake up. He's fucking looks like a mummy. It's horrible. Not a good scene.
There are entire comedy shows that could be written from you and Matt Serra rooming
we got
together.
some good stuff coming out. The book is in the works, Al.
Like a couple pictures. Awesome. That's what we got Instagram.
Mike, do you maybe turn the light up? Just give these guys a little more, like the volume.
Yo, Boo Radley, let's go. Come on. Let's bring this shit together. Let's bring this shit together, would you?